reputation. Do not come to visit me unless you see it said that the hatred in Sigigairar's heart has died, and seen it said by my hand. And Sigmund, who saw Sigigairar's eyes that night, agrees. Sigigairar and his Geats load up their ships, set sail, return to their land. Spring comes, and with spring, fresh sowing and fresh raiding. And this spring, Sigmund is not yet of age to lead men in battle. He is not yet age to take the field. But he has already taken arms. Walls pointing out that if the gods want to grant him an exemption of the normal order of things, far be it from him to stand in their way, and allows Sigmund to accompany his warband leader on raiding to the north. Sigmund acquits himself well, and quickly gains a reputation among the men of Walls as a terror on the battlefield. He does not fight as a man fights. His sword may parry, duck, weave, cut, and sever, like the sword of any other man. But the sword itself cheats men of their skill. The fearful sight of Sigmund cheats them of their courage, and while he is swinging a sword that in any other hands would require both arms to wield in but one hand, twirling it as one would a dinner knife, in his other hand he is grabbing, he is crushing, he is destroying, he is wreaking havoc with every portion of his body on the field. Some men fall to a fist in the face. Others fall to a helmet swung like a club. And soon the men of Walls learn that it is best to stay away when Sigmund is in battle. He returns from a season of raiding to the accolades and adoration of his father, and a letter from Sigmund. Do not come. A fall passes with its reaping, a winter with its long, dark nights, and another spring comes, and Sigmund is raiding again, this time leading the band, although the men he leads know well to steer clear of him when the battle fury is upon him. And he wins more glory for his house, more glory for his father. He takes more bondsmen, more lands, more wealth, and returns to another letter from Sigmund. Do not come. Another summer, another fall, another reaping, another desperate wait through the dark of winter. And spring comes. Sigmund is now leading the entire party, commanding all the ships at Wall's disposal in their raiding, in their war, and returns to find no letter, but from Sigigairar himself, inviting all the sons of Walls to be his guests. He has heard well of their exploits on the field of battle, for at this point there is no child of Walls that has not taken arms, and Sigigairar hopes that they will be an inspiration to his own sons, who have proven less accomplished. Sigmund sees no letter from Sigmund, for the ship on which he sent it sank in a storm. The warning that might have spared the grief of Sigmund's life, the grief of Walls, lies deep at the bottom of the strait. And so Sigmund and his brothers pack to go but pack with caution. They have been given no warning, but they need no warning to know that Sigi-Gairar is not to be entirely trusted. And so they go with half the warband, with letters from Walls explaining that this is to allow his men opportunity to learn the ways of war from the men of Sigi-Gairar, thus returning the compliment from the invitation of sons. On their travels the way is fair, the weather clear, the winds favorable, and they move towards the Geatish shore with swiftness and purpose. The Sinvist, the rune reader, the sign reader, that Walls sends with Sigmund to advise him, points to the sky, as if appearing like a sudden summer storm. Two swans fighting in the sky, ripping flesh, ripping feather, ripping wing from each other, showering blood upon the boats. And the men are afraid. This is an ill sign. This is a terrible sign. We must turn back. No good awaits us in Geatish lands. The Sinwist agrees, but before confirming the men's suspicions, takes Sigmund aside and says, "How do you read the signs?" Walls has ever been bound to the will of Odin. And as Odin is the god of ravens, and ravens are sometimes called the swan of wounds, this is a favorable sign. And they proceed. They make landfall, and on the road to the hall of Sigi-Gairar, they see two great stags clashing their horns. The shock of the blows shaking the trees around them. And the men watch as these two enormous stags ram, butt, slash, smack, ripping eye, ripping skin, ripping flesh, before finally dying on each other's horns. And they say, this cannot be a good sign. This can be no good sign. And the Sinwist again goes to Sigmund and says, "What do you make of this?" It is said that it is good favor to encounter two warriors in battle on one's way to a hall. And I have never seen two warriors mightier than those. This is a good sign. The Sinwist nods and says, "Sigmund, be careful. Be careful of your cleverness. Be careful of the wit that would have you read signs as you wish, rather than as they are."